Hello and good morning. Welcome back. We're in week 4-7. You may have your second test this weekend, so be alerted to that, okay? I'll let you know as we get closer, and if so, it will be from Friday to Monday. All right, so what are the three forms of a line? Well, let me think, point slope, so it's y minus y1. And in fact, I want you to turn to your neighbor and let's take 2 minutes and discuss the three forms. The other one is slope-intercept form, and then the last one is standard form. Okay? All right, so this one says right in point slope, so it's going to be y minus your y. Now, if you put -2, well, that's your x. Remember, it's always the second one here, okay? So this should be -5 equals the slope, and then x minus the x, which is the first one, right? X, and then y. So minus a -2, and you could clean this up and say y plus 5 equals -2 over 5, and then x plus 2. And there it is, and that's how you do that. Okay? Now the next one says get y by itself, so that's slope-intercept form. To get y by itself, I would get rid of this denominator here. So I would multiply by 5. When you do that, you get 5y plus 25. These 5's cancel and you're going to distribute, so you get -2x minus 4. And at this point, you're going to subtract 25 from both sides. Well, here you have the same sign, so you're going to add those and get -29. Then you're going to divide by 5. And when you do, you get your answer. So your answer is right there, and that's what y equals. You might say, well, how do you graph that? Well, that's a good question. This is your y-intercept. 5 times 5 is 25, so that's going to be a -5 with 4 left over, right? If you divide 5 into 29, that goes 5 times. So it's almost 6. So you would go down 6, and a little less than 6, okay? And then from there you would go down 2 more, because that's your slope, and then to the right 5, and then whatever that is your line, okay? That's how you do it. Let's talk about today's work. Copy all of this down. All right, so on this one right here, you got to know two things. First of all, it's a quadratic. So it's going to be either like that, or it's going to be like that. There are two other possibilities, but it's beyond the realm of this class. Anyway, the point is there's two formulas you need to memorize. Number one is x equals -b over 2a. That's going to give you your vertex, or at least part of it. And then x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared 4ac all over 2a. That's going to give you your x-intercepts. So copy that down. So if they ask for the x-intercepts, you use this formula. If they ask for the vertex, you use that formula. So here, they want the x-intercepts, so we have to use the quadratic equation. So you got to know that a is 3, b is 6, and c is 0. Well, you don't really have a c in this formula, so it's going to be x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared. 6 times 6 is 36, minus 4 times a times c. And c is 0, and so yeah, you do use c. All divided by 2 times a, and that's 2 times 3, and that's 6. So this cancels to 0. The square root of 36 is 6. So it's going to be -6 plus 6 divided by 6, right? 2 times 3. And then it's going to be -6 minus 6 divided by 6. A lot of 6's there. This cancels to 0 over 6, which equals 0. So that is one x-intercept. So write that down. X-intercepts. This one right here is a -12 divided by 6, which is a -2. So the graph on this, all you need to know for this one is it hits at 0, that's your x, and it hits at -2. And that's all they wanted was the x-intercepts, okay? This thing's positive, so it's going to go up, something like that. We don't know the vertex, but we could find it, okay? This one says graph it and find the max and min. Well, to do that, you need the vertex. So let's talk about the vertex. So put x equals negative b over 2 times a. That gives you a negative 6 over 6, which gives you a negative 1. So you're going to be going, your vertex, make a table, put negative 1 in the middle, and put a v right here, because that's your vertex, and that's what you need to know. So you're going to go ahead and plug it in into this equation way up here, right there. Okay? So negative 1 squared is 1, times 3 is 3. So you're going to have 3, and then 6 times negative 1 is negative 6, so that's going to give you a negative 3. So it's going to be negative 1 and then down 3. I guess that's close enough. So, is this a high point or a low point? Way up here is high. Way down here is low. So that is a minimum. Write that down. It is a low point. Lowest point is your vertex. And that's how you do it, and that's what we're doing today. Okay? Today's work is right here. And I'll work some with you. Let's turn our attention now to college algebra. Okay, so on this one right here, they want you to do row echelon form. By the way, you might have a test this weekend, so be aware of that. All right, so let's take a look. Well, now row echelon form, remember, you could technically swap this one because I like the 0 right here. Okay, so I'm going to swap these two. So I'm going to put the first one or the second one first and the first one second, like that. And if I don't like that, I'll change it back. But what I'm going to do is try to get some zeros here and try to get some ones along the diagonal. Well, I'm going to get a 0 real easy. I'm going to multiply this by a negative. And when I multiply by a negative and add it to the second one cancels. The first one stays the same, so rewrite it. The last one stays the same. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. Boom. Negative 1, well, that's going to be 0, negative 1. And then negative times a negative is a positive 1, and plus 0 is 1. And there you have it. We're going to get a 0 here, so we're going to multiply by negative 6 and add it to this one. So the first two are going to stay the same, so rewrite it. 1, 0, negative 1. The second one stays the same. The last one, however, is going to give me a 0 here when you add this up, right? Negative 6 plus 6. That times 0 is 0, so that's going to be a negative 2. That times that's going to be a positive 6, and 6 minus 3 is 3. We're almost done. We just need a 0 here. So I'm going to multiply the second one right here by 2, by negative 2. So the first one stays the same. Okay, so negative 2 times 0 plus 0 is 0. This times this is 2, and then 2 minus 2 gives me the 0 I want. And negative 2 times that is negative 2 plus 3 is 1. And this one right here looks like it's going to be inconsistent because 0, let's see what's going on here. X, Y, well, we actually have it in echelon form, so we'll just leave it like that. Okay? There should be another column here with constants, and there isn't. All right, we're going to talk about inverses, and we're going to watch a video for that. Okay, so copy this down, though, first. To do inverses, you're going to set up the identity matrix, which looks like this. Like that. Okay? And what you're going to do is get this into row echelon form. And when you do, you should have your identity matrix. And actually, what you want to do is swap these. So we're going to watch a video on that, and then we're going to do a little bit of work. Okay? And I'll give you the work in a minute. All right. Have a good day.